Good evening. You're on the smoking section with Stephen Helfer, and tonight we were not able to do our introduction because of a few technical glitches here at CCTV. Very rare thing here. We're usually pretty good about that, but tonight we have some problems, and we'll see what we can do here. Well, I was going to Audrey Silk's site tonight and her Facebook page, and of course Audrey is probably the most strongest smokers' rights advocate that I know of in certainly in the United States. And she came upon an article that was kind of interesting in a journal called Drug and Alcohol Dependence. And presumably it was done at Duke University, which is, I think, in Virginia or North Carolina, and was funded by a tobacco heiress. I think her name was Doris Duke. And one of the many philanthropies that the tobacco industry has been part of for the history of this country, and it's something that in the vilification of the industries has been completely neglected, or if a tobacco company has done some very good things, such as be the first company in the southern states to promote blacks to managerial positions, or funded educational opportunities for many poor people, particularly in the states which they're located, or funded the arts, all sorts of things that the tobacco companies have done over the many years, but those have all been pushed aside, brushed aside, because we're supposed to hate the tobacco companies, and we're supposed to hate the executives of the tobacco companies if they ever questioned any of their critics. And but still, this was a study done at Duke University, and of course, like most of these studies that get published, they're basically most often surveys asking people, do you think this, do you think that, do you smoke X number of cigarettes? So I think it's important to realize from a critical thinking kind of viewpoint that there really is no way that this data can be checked to make sure that it's correct. So, if they ask people how many cigarettes did you smoke, how many cigarettes do you smoke, how much secondhand smoke are you subjected to, these are all very, very kind of what you might call soft data. It's not something that we can really be sure of. But according to this particular study, and this is something that Audrey Silk is happy about, as would be as I am, and that is between 2006 and 2015, the number of Americans who said smoking a pack or more a day posed a great health risk dropped by 1%. Which of course really doesn't sound like a lot, and but when you consider how many people, according to this article, that 600,000 people almost were surveyed, and then you extrapolate that over the whole country, that means the perception that cigarettes are such a great harm seems to be decreasing a little bit, and of course that's a very reasonable perception, because most studies have found that most people vastly overestimate the dangers of smoking. I mean, even studies done by anti-smokers and the others, people think that that if you're a smoker, the probability is that you're going to get lung cancer, when in actuality, uh, the number of lifelong heavy smokers who get lung cancer is a very small minority. Now, it is a larger minority, more people who smoke heavily for a lifetime get lung cancer than those people who don't smoke, but it certainly is only a small minority of smokers. So evidently, the perception that smoking is a great danger is decreasing, it appears. And if we're talking about there are two things people are talking about. We're talking about accuracy and truth, and then we're talking about perception. So if you want to change behavior, of course, you put signs up that says, let's say, secondhand smoking kills, or women who smoke cigarettes will have underweight babies. And of course, neither of those is correct. But of course, if you want to change behavior, which many in the profession of public health are more interested in changing people's behavior than they are in presenting an accurate assessment of risk. But of course, also during this period, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the number of people who smoke in the U.S. dropped from 21% to 15%, which is a big drop. And of course, again, we don't know how accurate those statistics are because these are surveys, and we have no way of knowing how truthfully people answer the surveys. Certainly, probably most people, there are probably many people who do smoke, but when they write down in the survey, they might write they don't smoke. But I doubt there are too many people who don't smoke who write down in the survey that they do smoke. So the probability is that there are more smokers than this would indicate, but certainly 15% of the population. Oh, that comes down to, let's see, there are, let's say, approximately 3,300 million people. So 15% of the population would mean 30 million people, would mean 45 million people smoking. More than, actually. And that's a pretty good number, 45 million people out of the population. So even though we have been living in an era of 40 years of a tremendous effort and every means possible to reduce people from smoking, it certainly seems that a lot of people continue to smoke, and they are not dropping dead like flies. We see many people with gray hair who have been smoking 50 years and certainly appear to be in as good a health as many of their peers who don't smoke. And of course, as I pointed out so many times on the program, the hospitals in Massachusetts with a much lower smoking rate than it had 30 years ago still seem to be filled with people getting sick and spending great deals of money. So, we kept hearing about how much smoking costs the taxpayer money, yet we've reduced the smoking rate by half, and rather than see a windfall, we see medical costs go up year after year after year, and even the rate of increase has increased. Although supposedly it's cut down a little, but that is the rate of increase. Well, the co-founder the co-author of the study says, we were surprised by this findings. Cigarettes haven't fundamentally changed over the last 15 years. They are no safer. And we continue to see that large number of Americans are dying from tobacco-related diseases, as many as 400,000 a year. But of course, even this co-founder uses that very vague term, tobacco-related diseases, and you know, really we don't know what that means. I mean, is it caused by smoking, or is it just a disease that there is some statistical connection, and that smokers seem to get it more than non-smokers? But as we've also pointed out, smokers tend to be poorer. They tend to make other choices that might affect their health, like experiment with illicit drugs. And of course, many people with mental illness smoke for the benefits that nicotine provides. And these people are subject to all kinds of poor outcomes, health outcomes and whatnot, that have absolutely nothing to do with smoking. I have no doubt that the number of people who freeze to death on the street, that smokers are more likely to freeze to death on the street than non-smokers. It has nothing to do with smoking. It just has to do with the fact that the homeless population has a much higher smoking rate than the rest of the population. And then, of course, they shoot out, and this particular author shoots out this figure that 400,000 figure, which, despite people doing research on it, no one really knows exactly how this figure came about, or even from whom it came about. It's just been bandied about for so long. If I first saw it, I think in 1990, that's 27 years ago, and that was the first time I saw the figure. And even despite the fact that the smoking rate has decreased tremendously, despite the fact that exposure to secondhand smoke has decreased incredibly, we still have the same figure being bandied about. They don't even bother to really update it. And again, this is, when we're talking about a public health campaign, the object is not to be truthful, the object is to change behavior. And so anything that strikes fear in people, or encourages smoking restrictions, etc., is considered valuable. Whether or not it's accurate, whether or not it's based in science, is secondary. But I mean, I think it kind of indicates that the public is probably, particularly when you see that all of these people are dying from opioid overdoses, and these are things that you get in pharmacies like CVS, which refuses to sell tobacco, yet all of these opioids are creating these abuses and deaths, and that no one has ever died from an overdose of tobacco. Impossible. Even according to anti-smokers, yes, you can supposedly get certain illnesses that non-smokers get also. It's just smokers get them a little bit more often, supposedly, but it only after 40 or 50 years of use. No one has ever smoked 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes and then dropped dead because of an overdose. And as a matter of fact, it seems that according to this study again, The number of people who actually think that smoking does not cause any great health risk has increased. And so I guess you might say, as Audrey did, that the smokers' rights advocates, such as Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights and New York City Clash, have had some effect. I mean, a small effect perhaps, but an effect nonetheless. Now, the authors of this study, however, think that basically people are getting tired of the message, and the message has been out so long now and pounded on people so much that they may just be, maybe running its course, something like, oh, we could have a wonderful utopia if nobody smoked, but I think people are kind of getting tired of hearing that, and we're seeing that there's so many of these pharmaceutical drugs that pose such far greater risks, especially to younger people than smoking does, that the public is beginning to, let's say, regain a sense of proportion in this endless war on tobacco. And as I said before, public health officials are not as interested in speaking truthfully as they are in changing behavior. And there was an interview we had on this show a little while ago, and I think with a German fellow who is a smokers' rights advocate, and he noted that, for example, even in North Korea, which of course where people don't have any freedom of speech, at least if a restaurant wants to allow smoking, they can allow smoking. And, oh, well, we've got a phone call, that's great. Let's see if we can pick it up anyway. You're on the smoking section.
Hey, how you doing? I was wondering if I can call in. I have a couple things I'd like to say.
You may say whatever you like, please.
Okay, when will I be able to?
Hello? Right now. Go ahead.
Is this going to be online?
Yes, it will. Well, we got a little prankster there. Nothing to do but to call the smoking section. But, if you had something to say that was interesting, good for you. But, even in North Korea, restaurants can allow smoking if they want. And, of course, they don't have freedom of speech. But it was pointed out in this interview, banning smoking in restaurants affects millions and millions of people. Whereas, if you want political dissidents, are still very few people. And this is something that's very much in line with what Alex de Tocqueville opined, that being tyrannical towards people in their small ways is actually worse than in large ways, because small ways, like, again, banning smoking, are things of that nature, affect more people and affect them in a daily way, whereas, for example, if one's freedom of speech is abrogated, it's usually very few people and only under very few occasions. Let's see if you're on the smoking section.
How you doing? I was just wondering, was Mr. Blue Eyes, was he actually buried with a case of Jack Daniels?
I don't know if he was buried with the case of Jack Daniels, but according to what I read, he was buried with a bottle of Jack Daniels, a package of Camel non-filters, and a bunch of quarters, because he used to keep quarters in his pockets.
How many quarters?
A bunch, because when his son was kidnapped, he always wanted to have quarters on him so he could use a pay phone. Frank Sinatra.
Going out to Natasha.
And he lived to be 82 and lived a very full life.
That's fantastic. We need to bring the Rat Pack back.
Well, we certainly could use a lot more relaxed fun in this society. And Dean Martin lived to be 80. Sammy Davis Jr. unfortunately did not live as long, but you know, they drank hard, they played hard, and they smoked a lot. And they lived very full lives and lived well into maturity. Smoking was not lethal in their cases. But anyway, so that's, like de Tocqueville said, if the government just is so tyrannical about our small things, like where we can smoke, how much we pay for cigarettes, etc., that affects more people more often, and in many ways that's worse than the government being tyrannical about large things. Now, I think we're going to go to the Smoker of the Week today. Let's see if I can get this. Let's see how good I can get this here. Aha, here we are. And no, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this because of the problems we're having tonight. And so the Smoker of the Week would have been Bertrand Russell. And I don't know if I've had him on before. I have a great photo of him, but unfortunately we're having these technical difficulties here. And Bertrand Russell is famous for being one of the world's great mathematicians and philosophers and anti-war activists. And he was very popular in the 60s. He lived to be 98 years old. And he was an inveterate pipe smoker. He would smoke a pipe from the time he got up in the morning until very late at night. So he was exposed to a great deal of tobacco smoke, was a great intellect, again, lived to be 98 years old. And someone said to him once, do you like to smoke? Or, and he says, well, it's not so much that I like to smoke, but I don't like not smoking. So he smoked all day, every day. And he was in his autobiography, which I read and found very interesting, one time he was taking a plane from Oslo in Norway to Trondheim, and it was a seaplane, and before he got on the plane, he said that if he did not have a seat in the smoking section, he would die. Well, when the plane landed in Trondheim, this seaplane, it hit something, and the section which housed the non-smoking section was flooded, and tragically all of the non-smokers were killed, and the only people who survived were people in the smoking section. So Bertrand Russell said that while he really didn't mean that he would die if he couldn't smoke, as it turned out, smoking saved his life. And, I wonder how many other people, for example, and I think this would be an interesting study because it'd be very hard to do like most of these studies, but the anti-smokers can do it at a drop of a hat. But smoking definitely, scientifically, increases your reaction time, your alertness, your concentration, what is called vigilance. So I wonder how many people and how many automobile accidents have been avoided by people who were smoking cigarettes and were that much more alert, that much more awake, that much better able to avoid a crash than non-smokers. Because these studies have been done over and over again, and people who are smoking or under the influence of nicotine are much better able to react quickly to stimuli than non-smokers. And so I think Bertrand Russell's the only person in the world who isn't saved by smoking. Listen, thank you for calling the smoking section. Thank you for watching. We're on every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Good night.